posted a couple of links in there that I'm sure he'll touch on a little more. But if you could take a couple minutes, either now or at the end of the demonstration, to fill out that survey 123, we would definitely appreciate that. Otherwise, I'll turn it over to you guys, Shelby, Mike.
All right, all right. My name is Shelby Hutcheson. I work for ADECA. I'm the 3DHP coordinator for the GIS Executive Council's working group for 3DHP. And I'm pretty excited about this. And this is a long time coming effort that USGS is trying to put forth throughout the nation, and doing our part in Alabama to bring that to reality has been a challenge. And I'm excited that we're moving forward and closer to getting to a new 3DHP hydrography data set. So that's kind of what I want to talk to you about, what it is. If you are down at the conference in November, it's going to be very identical to the program, with just a few updates to where we stand right now, or where we're going with it. So if you were at the conference and at my presentation down there, this should look very familiar to you. But anyway, the 3DHP program is a huge program that provides the most comprehensive hydrography data ever. And if you understand where paper maps, and I remember digitizing flood maps as one of my first internships, as a mapper 20 years ago, to where it's come today and where it's going is cutting edge, and where this will help everyone make better decisions across multiple applications for GIS. Early paper maps, again, were created from the 1950s, and like I said, digitized and as early as 20 years ago. So this is relatively new as far as digital visualization of water data, but now it's going into a new generation of hydrography, which is what I call smart. Having elevation data and line data, and trying to come up with a flow of water is now going to be at your fingertips, rather than having to calculate that. If you've ever used HAZUS to calculate flow of water or any modeling, this is going to revolutionize how water is going to be used for different, like I said, different entities. The last and final update, the National Hydrography Dataset, was last year, well, 2 years, December of 2023, and that shows here. You can see that 2023 was the last and final update to the National Hydrography Dataset. Florida's touches Alabama in the south, so that was updated. That was their last update, but Alabama's won't be updated again until we get 3DHP. So what 3DHP is actually getting a lot better and accurate data for, this is old line work versus new. The dots are where culverts and roads are. So that kind of shows that. I'll get more detailed, some more detailed pictures as we move along. What 3DHP is, combines the 3D elevation models and 3D with lidar to create 3DHP. So it's using lidar to actually get this accurate data from. And the steps they go through is taking a 3D, or I'm sorry, a lidar image, and filling in gaps where they can find data from different sources, whether it's existing hydrography or county, city, engineering data that they can plug in small ponds and lakes. And then you add culverts from engineering departments here that go across where you can see where there's roads and culverts, some bridges here that that there are added. If you can see that in here. And then finally, with that, you have an accurate depiction of water, where it is. And not only that, what makes it smart is you have elevation data associated, Z value, or associated with each point. So you can tell here from higher elevations, the flow of water coming down, and it kind of seems to level out here, which would probably, you kind of have to imagine that it would level out somewhere there and then flow downward into higher or lower elevations. So that's what makes it smart. That's what makes it invaluable to all kinds of modeling for different purposes. It's a high intensive project, and it's incredible what it can do, where we can go with it. Here's a example of some examples of the old hydrography data set in red, and the inaccuracies of it versus the blue, which is accurate, has additional data which was previously missing. And this was probably could have been accurate at one time, but because of engineering, construction, flooding, different reasons, all these lines change over time. Again, this is a before picture of existing hydrography, and it's good for what it is. And what we've been using it for our different purposes. But again, using it for engineering or emergency purposes, with, for example, has us using this data, your best guess is using inaccurate and out-of-date data. Where with the new, it collects every line and every stream, river, culvert, everything in here that would be a representation of water along with the elevation data. Again, here's another example of the old 3DHP versus the new. And again, this could have been accurate, as accurate as you could be, digitization of paper maps of different sources, and now you have a source that is accurate. And again, the Z value is huge when it comes to building any models for engineering purposes or modeling for. Well, I'll get to all the uses that there are for this. Again, here's another example of all the missing data from the National Hydrography dataset that we currently use versus all the new data that will be acquired. And this is what you will end up having, and having an accurate surface water model, and you can make maps for different uses, for different projects, for different entities. So this is an incredible use of, and it'll affect everybody, I think, in most fields. So the need for accurate water data, as you can see, it's outdated. It lacks detail and missing the demand of environmental challenges, of course, with flooding and flood insurance is huge. Of course, from flooding, you have erosion, and then, of course, construction. Um, Again, I mentioned it provides the high resolution data, which is just incredible where we're going with it. Here's some more examples of 3D HP in action for DOT, sizing bridges and culverts, and for stormwater management, finding those culverts, planning for those bridge design, uh, having planning for safety issues, and then in the planning and zoning, zoning for where you don't want to build in the floodplain. And I know certain neighborhoods here in Montgomery were built in the floodplain, and infrastructure planning and design, and it's just an incredible and valuable resource of um, of water information that will go very far. Here's for environmental protection of wetlands mapping and habitat analysis. Of course, water quality is huge. Soil and water maintenance, including erosion control after a flood. This could help immensely in modeling for that and preparing for that. Of course, pollution prevention. And then, of course, public safety is a big, huge one for accurately defining the floodplain. What I mentioned for National Floodplain Insurance Program, whether your building or structure is in or out of the floodplain is costly. And in order to know that, you need to have high quality information. So with 3DHP, this can help in determining where the floodplain actually lies. And of course, preparing for disasters and infrastructure protection. This is huge for mitigation purposes. So reaping the rewards, what I'll mention to you all, improved accuracy, enhanced modeling, environmental and public safety benefits, but the economic benefits is the most important thing here. And you see down here the return of return on investment has a 5-to-1 potential ratio, and that's a huge investment if you're thinking in terms of money. It's a huge investment that will help everybody in the state. So from this, we have, as the working group, have been trying to come up with an area that 3DHP we would start a 3DHP program, and these are federal priorities based on C-Sketch. If anybody's used C-Sketch, these are federal priorities. All in the darker for different entities, and the darker the area, the more higher priority. And of course, the whole state's a priority, but these are where the federal needs are. So based on that and other issues such as lidar, we've come up with a proposed pilot area. One of the reasons was because this is the pilot area that we're talking about in the northern Alabama. It covers four plus municipalities, with Huntsville and Decatur and others, Madison in this area, as well as its partnership with Tennessee. Tennessee has moved along, is a little bit further than we are at this point. They've already flown for this area, which does dip down into the state of Alabama, and right a little portion here too. And so we're trying to partner with Tennessee to get this first hook, sorry, because of the it covers the high priority area, as well as it covers new lidar that has been flown recently. So this is kind of the first pilot area that we're working on acquiring, and we're hoping that if this pilot project goes well, the rest of the state will follow quickly along. USGS is trying to get the entire U.S. Done in the next 10, well, I think it's 9 years now. I think we're already a year behind. But that's their goals, to get the entire country within the next 9 years now. So we're a little bit behind, but we're working towards getting it. It does cost a small, fortune, but we tried to break it down into the total pilot project area estimate. We've had some estimates from different gypsy contractors that we've guesstimated to be around 400,000 for the whole pilot area. But if we were to break this out into state government departments and local governments, which includes cities, municipalities, and county, and then maybe some private stakeholders, we could get, if we could get that, the USGS has, they said that they would participate in investing up to 50% of the total project cost. So it's not exactly 50%, but up to 50%. So if we could spread out the cost, it could be as low as $20,000 per partner. So if we can get more partners on board to invest in 3DHP, it'll be cheaper for each entity. Again, the statewide call is for, because of land growth and changes exponential over the past 70 years, having accurate, up-to-date surface water data set is essential for economic and community development, as well as all construction and mitigation, and looking for ways to help with saving money overall. Streams, rivers, and surface runoff does not stop at the county or state lines, so that's why we need to partner with other states and counties, having an investment in this as well. I'm not sure of how we can get people in the private industry involved, but we need to get people with knowledge base to complete a statewide 3DHP initiative. Again, cost sharing is going to save everyone a lot of money. So again, data acquisition and collaboration, the 3D elevation program, the lidar, along with collaboration with federal, state, and local agencies, and having you all as advocates to acquiring 3DHP is imperative to getting this complete. So for the pilot project area, we've identified some of the stakeholders, of course, ALDOT, ADEM, GSR, OWR, and etc. We're looking for more. And then, of course, in the pilot area, you have the city of Huntsville, Decatur, Madison, Athens. The counties could invest in it, and then trying to identify private stakeholders as well.
Shelby, real quick before you leave that slide, I want to point out that these are potential and not confirmed stakeholders. These are people that would be within the scope of that pilot project area. that we need to be able to reach out to in order to get their insights, participation, and interest in the potential pilot project. But these are not confirmed in terms of funding partners at this point in time.
Yeah, these aren't as well, but I've just mentioned some of the other potential funding partners, NOAA and EPA, state agencies of course, we're on the other slide, county commissions, some private sector companies that are up that way, reaching out to them to see what their interest level into being a stakeholder is they'll be using it. Everybody will, I believe, will be using this for different projects. So joining the 3DHP revolution here is trying to get everybody to invest in their time and to learn about it, learn about the significant effects that it could be in your particular area of interest, and how you are using it at your job in GIS. I use it every day for different projects. So getting support and collaboration and being an advocate for higher ups is crucial for moving forward in water data accuracy. This, I have sent you a link in the chat to our 3DHP hub site, and I was going to just go over it briefly and show some of the things that, if you can you see that this, let's see. Oops.
Yeah, you had it up there for just a minute, Shelby, and then went away.
Here. Give me just a second. Where did I put it? There it is.
Yep, perfect.
This shows if you'd like to take your time and learn a little bit more about 3DHP in Alabama, this shows a very good demonstration of how 3DHP is acquired, and it kind of shows a little bit more in-depth data of what it can show and where it came from. They did a fantastic job showing us, and we've been educating ourselves on 3DHP. This is a map of lidar in Alabama based on the years that the red is the oldest versus the newest lidar imagery, and going back from 2024 to 2018. 3DHP Gypsy contractors and USGS want to have lidar being 5 years old or newer. So that's why we're trying to keep within the newest lidar that we have available, which up here is where the pilot area is, and that's within the past 3 years. Well, 2 years, 3 years, yeah. And that's why we started up in this. Another reason we started up in this area. And lidar is flown in different areas of the state. I'm not sure why that is, but it is what it is, and probably would follow the next next program would probably follow the next newest lidar potentially. But there's lots of factors that are built into that. But that's one of the reasons we started with that area. Again, this is our pilot area, and as you can see in Tennessee, they're moving pretty rapidly with their short-term and long-term plans for 3DHP. But we're moving forward. If you want to learn more about some of the more meetings that we've had of the GIS Executive Council, you can download past meetings. We met in January. We're going to meet again in March to see what the next steps and our progress to acquiring 3DHP is. Next thing I'd like to, well, let me show you this real quick, is these are our partners, and there's links to their sites. You have GSA and ALEA and Department of DOT and Conservation and ADEM as our partners. But another link I'd like to send you is a survey, another survey 123. I'm going to put it in the chat. It's actually on this page right here. But if you would, we would love to get your feedback for 3DHP, whether you're mildly interested or very interested, and we need to know what your how you use it and how you could help in the acquisition of 3DHP. So with that, that's about all I had. I'm just going to leave it up to some questions. I was going to put one other link I'm going to send you is a link to the 3DHP for all service. You can either open it here and see some of the 3DHP that's been acquired throughout the country so far. It's not a whole lot, but if you go up to Portland area, you can see a lot of the data that they've already added. This does go, but you can add it to your map as a service if you'd like to. But just trying to quickly show you that Portland is this area is really has started, and you can see some of the accurate detail.
Shelby, I don't think you added any data to your map. I think you clicked on a link, but it didn't add the data. Oh, nope, it's there.
It's coming up. There it is.
Thank you.
So you can see in the Portland area what 3DHP is actually going to be like, and this is what we're working towards.
On the left-hand side, Shelby, open up the layers because that's important to understanding what's in the view.
Oh.
And there's a lot of content in there, y'all, in terms of exploring this and seeing what the value is of the data.
So with that, do you all have any questions?
Well, Shelby, real quick, before we switch over to questions, I did want to address some of the housekeeping at the beginning, introductions. You dove right into the presentation, which is great. You did a really good job there. But as Shelby had mentioned, we are a working group of the GIS Executive Council. Our role is to gather information and make recommendations. So the pilot project and all the information that you see here are informational. We've gathered them to begin and initialize the project and to identify the partners, identify interests and participants, right? The decision making goes back to the Executive Council based on the guidance and recommendation of the working group. All the working group members are members of the Executive Council, and we have planned opportunities to have meetings where participants can be involved similar to this and be engaged in the process. Starting out with that form that Shelby's shown you is the best way to get started for sure. And then trying to go a little bit more backwards in the housekeeping. Myself, my name, Mike Van Hook. I'm the IT chief here at ADECA, but for the purpose of GIS Executive Council and the 3DHP working group, I am the representing proxy of ADECA for GIS Executive Council, and I am the chair for the 3DHP working group. Shelby, as he correctly identified himself, is the coordinator helping to facilitate and pull all this information together and keep people involved. So we really appreciate y'all joining and participating and watching the presentation. And we really look forward to hearing back from you all on your potential use cases, drivers, motivation, and those that might be interested in participating.
Yeah, with that, I just would really like you all to fill out this short one survey 123. Give us a little bit of your background and how it can help you. It'll help us to make business use cases to pass on to stakeholders. It does help a lot. So please fill it out as um, best you can. It'd be great.
Looks like you got a couple of questions in the queue, Shelby.
Oh, I do. Well,
I think you guys are all muted by default, but for those of you with raised hands, if you wanted to, unmute yourself and ask, you can either do that or post it in the chat, whichever would be your preference.
okay. Yeah, I'm trying to go up through the chat. Okay.
I guess I'm just wondering, with your pilot project, what's your timeline?
Yesterday.
Well, here's why I asked. So I'm with the city of Huntsville, and I filled out this form back in October, and I've yet to hear anything. And our budget is quickly coming up for next fiscal year, so we have to know by May what our input, our understanding of what our input would be by May or June of this year to prepare for next year. So I'm like, LIDAR was flown in January. Hopefully it'll be approved by the end of the year. Are we going to be ready to go forward with this in 2026?
That's again, yesterday's be my preference, but we're still building business use cases and need to send those out to stakeholders. And we have some of the business use cases ready to go. We just need to identify the stakeholders that with the deep pockets, and you just can't send out a interest letter or a letter asking for money without some sort of follow-up and some education. So making some work, having some workshops, and of course that's what we're doing here, is building advocacy for 3DHP and getting people on board and excited about it, and developing a need and an interest in it. So that's kind of where we're at right now, is to identify the stakeholders to send business use cases to, and following up and doing that.
Shelby,
That's
let me help you out here.
Sure.
Amy has already identified that she's an interested funding partner. We need to be able to collect that information and be able to respond back to her and give her a sense of what it would take to be able to do it. And to answer your question more succinctly, Amy, it depends on the number of funding partners that we find and get interested in the pilot project. So Shelby had that slide pulled up, right, where it was split between members. If it's just Huntsville and USGS, that makes it very unpractical.
Yeah, but I mean,
got others that we've gathered interest with you and others that you're aware of in the area. That would really kind of help initialize the whole process. Once we get enough people together, we would be able to be more specific in numbers. So with you and anyone else that you know of in the Huntsville area that has specifically funding interests, that's the key indicator that we need to pull a meeting together on and really build that coalition for this first pilot.
because I believe there's already 5 entities that's filled out that form in Huntsville, Madison, Limestone. There's already 5 entities that are interested in being funding partners to get this going.
Good deal. So we need to follow up with you and pull those specific people together and extend those conversations.
Okay. Thank you.
Shelby, Mike, another question was, can we have your contact info to reach out?
So we're trying to use this site as a single point of contact. The survey is the best way to reach out to us, so that we keep all that there, regardless of who is representing the Executive Council and the 3D HP Data Working Group. But Shelby, you've got a slide with your information on there if someone wanted to reach out to you directly, right?
Yes. Let me bring that up.
And then Shelby as coordinator is also serving kind of in a central single point of contact method for the working group.
And then there was a statement, the entire 3D HP network is a 3D network. Vertices along lines are regularly spaced and change monotonically in the direction of flow.
Correct. And the minimum standard I remember I heard was 11 meters, where the maximum was 3 meters, if that makes sense. That at where there's more twists and turns, there's going to be a 3 meter versus a long stretch of stretch of water would be 11 meters. So that's pretty good accuracy.
Excellent. Well, we do have a little more time if there are any additional questions. I do want to be respectful of everyone's time, so if not, we can wrap it up pretty soon. We are recording this presentation and we'll post it on the GISAA YouTube channel. We'll also drop some of the links that Shelby provided to the Survey 123 and the hub site and those other REST service pages in our GISAA newsletter that comes out monthly. So be on the lookout for that. And we're always looking for volunteers who want to talk about the GIS work that they're doing, throughout the state or region. So if you're doing, something you want to share with a group, this is a great avenue to do that. You can reach out to me. You can send an email to president@gisaa.org and we can get you lined up and on the schedule to come talk to us. We love hearing about what everyone's doing. The opportunities, for GIS in the state are tremendous. It's a great place to live and work. And we're happy to be an avenue for people to share what they're doing. Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Shelby. And thank you all for joining us today. Really appreciate you sharing the expertise and letting us get a deeper understanding of how this high quality 3D surface water mapping is going to kind of transform a lot of the work that we do.
The only last thoughts that I have is everyone pay attention to the USGS national map, because no matter what we do, no matter how any state gathers participation, funding, partnerships, etc., when that data is completed and available, it goes directly to the public portal at USGS. They'll deliver derivative data sets to us that are for detailed use at the state, and there's some possibility of exchanging data in that way, but I'd really recommend every time to go back to that national map portal to be able to collect data. So where he showed Portland, that gives you an example of some data that's already available. And I don't know if it's 100% complete, but it's probably one of the closer and more complete data sets out there.
Great. Well, thanks again, y'all. Thanks again, everyone. And we look forward to seeing y'all again real soon.
Thank you all.